know what anxiety is?
No.
Yes, it's something that happens when you're triggered in some way, and it causes you to react in different ways, such as an anxiety attack or shutting down. It's almost like you feel out of control for a second. Something happened in your life that makes you completely absorbed with this feeling of fear and out of control, and you don't know how to fix it. And it's like you fall apart for a second, and the whole world just stops around you, and everything around it's overwhelming for a second.
Anxiety is sort of I was just going to use the word anxiety, but that doesn't help. Feelings of sort of nervousness or fear, or I want to call it inner claustrophobia, where you feel sort of some panic because of things that are maybe outside of your control, people bullying you, or just making you nervous, or asking you to do something that you don't know how to do, that kind of thing.
Do you know what anxiety is?
Yes. When you can't, it's difficult to be around a lot of people, and when you have anxiety, you're very fidgety. At least that's how I am. You're just very fidgety. You just can't really control.
I do know what anxiety is, but I'm not sure of the technical definition. I just have a general understanding of what it is and what people see it as. I believe that anxiety is a fear of doing certain things, or something that stops you from performing a certain activity.
Anxiousness is being nervous and afraid of something, and then an anxiety disorder is being diagnosed with something that makes you feel nervous, and the nervousness and fear on a higher level.
Anxiety is when a student's brain sort of shuts down, and it's not really about fear, but they stop thinking and they can't really perform because other factors are coming down on them, and they get very nervous.
When you have little panic attacks over anything, you start freaking out over little things. So school is a good example. You start freaking out about that. Your mind goes somewhere else, and you're not focusing on school. So.
Do you personally suffer from an anxiety disorder?
Yes, I have not been clinically diagnosed with it, but I do believe I have some type of anxiety. Most of my friends suffer from anxiety or severe anxiety.
Do you suffer from anxiety?
Yeah.
Do you know what type of anxiety you have?
I don't really know the term of what kind of anxiety I have. In my case, when my anxiety kicks in, I start just being very fidgety, I have to be touching something or doing something with my hands or looking at something. I can't sit down and be around an amount of people. My anxiety isn't much of talking in front of people, it's just being in a large environment.
Do you personally suffer from anxiety?
I wouldn't say I do have little moments where I freak out, but that's not. I don't know how to answer that.
Yes, and I've experienced it a lot with my friends, and I've seen it affect many people.
I do believe that anxiety is a real disorder because it affects people a lot more than we know and we think. It may even affect yourself, you, and you may not know it.
I personally believe that anxiety disorders are real because I see it not often, but I do see anxiety and what would be an anxiety disorder.
yes, I believe it can prohibit you from doing many things. Like, from my experience, it has kept me from doing things that I've wanted to do, but I was too anxious to actually follow through with it.
I think there's degrees to it. So if it is preventing you like from leaving the house ever, then that's really serious. If you're so anxious you can't even leave the house, that's really serious. I think a lot of anxiety is also just like, this is new and I've never done it and it makes me nervous. I don't think I would call that serious mental illness. So I think there's a spectrum, and kids fall anywhere along that spectrum. I think if you're on sort of this end of the spectrum, a lot of that is just like practice and get used to it and learn coping skills and stuff, and that'll take care of sort of the low end of the spectrum. I think this end of the spectrum is really hard, and that is the serious stuff that requires sort of different ways of dealing with it.
Personally, I don't think it's taken serious in the classroom because, like, as classmates, they could probably make fun about you, like, oh, like, what are you freaking out about? And you're like, that's an illness you have that you can't control over, and then like the teacher's probably thinking you're just trying to get out of work or you're trying to get out of class. So I don't think it's taken serious.
I would say by adults, they're taken less seriously than by kids, because I believe the kids in the classroom can relate better to the person that has an anxiety disorder or an anxiety attack, but the adults I don't think would necessarily relate as much.
So I think every student's different, and every student is going to need something different. So I know I have a student who likes to walk around a lot when he's anxious. So I sort of give him the back of the room, and he can walk around back here when he's nervous. Other students need a quiet place, so there's the desk over there if they need to just get away. Some students ask to go stand in the hall, and obviously that's fine. Other students just need to like put their head on their desk and like have a moment, which is fine. So I kind of just feel out kids and see what they need and let them do whatever they need to do, because oftentimes kids know what they need because they've had this happen before. And so just trying to be really sympathetic to whatever it is they need.
Try and work with them on breathing and give them different techniques to help out, and give them ideas to kind of curb their anxiety and move past it.
I don't know. I don't know how other teachers deal with it. I'm sure there are teachers who actually probably deal with it better than I do. And then I'm sure there's some teachers who don't even like register that it's happening, or who just aren't, like you said before, they like don't think it's serious and they're like, oh, you're just nervous, get over it. I think there's, again, a range of people who deal with it well and who don't. I think educating teachers, like at staff developments, and saying like, this is a real thing, it's a real problem, this is how you deal with it, would be really useful, so that everyone's on the same page with the fact that anxiety is like a real, actual thing.
I can't really speak for other teachers. My son has some anxiety, and I know that not always does the staff give it its due process. So.
What I think they can do is just try to get the student out of the classroom and go outside, let them cool down for a sec, and then when they're cooled down, we'll talk to them and see what's going on, and try to help them.
Do you take anxiety seriously?
I do.